Bulls 19, Edinburgh 17. The Bulls get the big win away from home in Edinburgh, in Scotland. 2 weeks in a row for the Bulls. Against Power last week, they had a massive win to keep the Champions Cup hopes alive. And this week, they have a massive win against Edinburgh to maybe keep the URC title hopes alive. I mean, before the season, you would have said with this squad, with the new coach, with everything, with the players they've signed, that they could be one of the favourite teams to win. But now, obviously, it's not looking like that. But this could be a massive swing for the Bulls going forward, especially from a confidence perspective. And I will say, you got to give credit to some of the guys that didn't play in the weeks prior that have been playing these last 2 weeks. I mean, if you think of the likes of Jan Hendrik Wessels has been absolutely outstanding the last 2 weeks. Ronald Kia has been great. Marcel Coetzee has been solid. Mpilo Gumede. One thing I will say about Mpilo Gumede is his defense on the line, especially on the try line. He is so dominant there, and I think he's a really underrated player. And I can't wait to see how he goes for the rest of the season. And a guy like Jean-de Rudolph putting his body on the line once again. What I will say is I hope Sebastian Leclerc can heal up soon. He's a very important player for this Bulls side. He's a really important player for this Bulls team, and it's just never nice seeing a player get injured like that. So hopefully Sebastian Leclerc can heal up very soon. He's a very important player for the Bulls, and I think if not this year or next year, after 2027, he'll be a Springbok somehow. I think he deserves it. If he's rewarding form, he definitely deserves it. But yeah, massive win for the Bulls. Wasn't their best win, was the prettiest win ever, but if you look at the stats, it was actually a very close game. And I mean, the scoreboard just tells it. I mean, both scored 3 tries, more conversions to the Bulls, which is 2 points, and the Bulls won by 2 points, so that's going to be a bit worrying for the Edinburgh kicker. Carries 125 for the Bulls, 101 for Edinburgh. Line breaks only 3 for the Bulls, 5 for Edinburgh. Turnovers lost, 14 for Edinburgh, 12 for the Bulls. A lot of stats are very even here. I mean, if you think ball carries, 125 Bulls, 101 Edinburgh. Post contact meters, 257 Bulls, 218 Edinburgh. Very, very even stats. Very even stats. Penalties conceded, 9 for the Bulls, 10 for Edinburgh. So if you look at this game, you'd probably say, stats-wise, it was a very close game. Just with the eye test, just looking at the game, it seemed like a close game. But the Bulls stuck in there. Very gritty win, really showed some character and some fight, which I'm sure the Bulls fans will be very happy with. And let's hope they can really grow on this going forward. I mean, they've still got a long season left. This is a very good Bulls squad with a lot of depth as well. I mean, if a player does get injured, thankfully they have a lot of good players that can stand up in that position. I mean, I'm pretty sure if Kanan Moody's healthy, he'll slot into the 13 position. Because, I mean, the Bulls have very good wings right now, and I think they could use a guy like Kanan Moody at 13. I did say in weeks previous that I thought that the Bulls centers were a bit stagnant, lacked a bit of imagination on attack, and now that they've had Sebastian Leclerc, they've looked like a better team. And I mean, if they can do something like that with Kane and Moody, they could just be an even better team. So yeah, very positive for the Bulls. 2 big wins away from home. They can hopefully go home to Loftus now, and there'll be a big crowd waiting for them, hopefully. Just looking at some of the individual performances, carries, Johan Grobler with 15 carries, and the big man himself, Jean-de Rudolph, 14 carries, Magnus Bradbury, 13 carries. So there's some big stats up there. Line breaks, max line breaks by a player was 1, so not too much you can say about that. Tackles completed. Harry Morris from Edinburgh completed 22 tackles. Now that's a guy that wants to make a statement. And Marcel Coetzee, 18 tackles. I said in the preview, and I've said in other previews and other platforms, that Marcel Coetzee is the one guy for the Bulls that he's such an important player for them. Every time he plays for the Bulls, he leads from the front. And that's why I was not shocked to see that he was the captain. I mean, he always leads from the front. He puts his body on the line, and he plays so well every time he plays for the Bulls. I'm not going to lie, last year I was actually hoping he could get a Springbok call-up if there was injuries. And I still think he could be an emergency guy that the Springboks can bring in if need be, if there's so many injuries. But there's obviously a lot of young guys as well and a lot of informed guys. But yeah, Marcel Coetzee, really impressive. Turnovers 1. Freddie Douglas, 5 turnovers 1. I mean, a lot of very good individual performances from Edinburgh. They just let it slip somehow. I don't know. It just felt like Edinburgh was probably more in control at times and scored easier when they did score. But it just felt like the Bulls just hung in there, and that's the character of this Bulls team now. I mean, the last 2 games have shown that the players really care about the Bulls organization. They care about the coach's reputation. They care about each other, and they care about their season. So it's really good to see players fighting for each other like that. And I mean, the Bulls will take massive confidence from this win going forward. I don't really know who the Bulls' next games are, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they go for the rest of the season. Let's see who they're playing in the next games, just to have a bit of a prediction. So up next in the URC, 31st of Jan, Bulls vs Lions at Ellis Park. Might be a bit of a home game for the Bulls fans. I mean, I know there's a lot of Bulls fans in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Then they've got the Sharks at home. That should be a packed out Loftus, hopefully, especially if the Bulls can get a win against the Lions. Then it's a Bulls home game against the Stormers in the URC. That's going to be an epic game. I mean, the last South African derby they played against each other was very scruffy, but still a very nice game to watch. Bulls vs Cardiff, Bulls vs Munster, Glasgow vs Bulls, then Glasgow vs Bulls is in the Champions Cup, so that's going to be a tough one. But I do think that weirdly this Bulls team can beat that Glasgow team. I think that's going to be an outstanding game. Then Dragons versus Bulls, Scarlets versus Bulls, Zebra versus Bulls, and Benetton versus Bulls. So looking at the rest of the season, I think the Bulls do have a chance to make the playoffs. They are 8th on the log right now. Obviously, other games to be played this weekend, but they're not far off. I think if they can get a win against the Lions, then end the season strong, they could find themselves in the playoff spot, especially that they're playing the Welsh teams later on. But I mean, this Bulls team right now can be very happy. They've got 2 confident wins. They're still in the running for the Champions Cup. They're still in the running for the URC. They've still got a long way to go. Their season's not over. If they lost these 2 games, it would have seemed like their season's over. But thankfully, they hang in there. And I mean, this Bulls team now can look forward and be excited about what's ahead. So really exciting for the Bulls. Very happy that they got the win. Bulls fans, be very happy for your team. Edinburgh has a lot of injuries and they did very well with what they had, and I think there's a lot of players that stuck up their hand. There's maybe some players that lost their spot, but that's for Gregor Townsend to decide. But yeah, very good game of rugby to watch. There's some massive games still happening this weekend, and if you do enjoy this type of content, we'll be doing previews and reviews for all the international games and all the big club games, especially the South African derbies, the Irish derbies, the URC derbies. So if you guys do enjoy that type of content, do enjoy the reviews, the previews, the power rankings for the positions, and a bit of hot takes now and then, don't forget to like, subscribe to help the channel grow, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.